What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So just last month, Kail Lowry filed a lawsuit against her co-star Briana Dejesus. And now Briana Dejesus, she is making it clear that she has every intention to fight back against Kail. It says here that on Monday, court documents filed by Briana and her legal team call Kail's claims meritless. She also insists that she got some of the info in question straight from Kail's ex, Chris Lopez. Ooh, this ain't gonna look good. This is not gonna be good. From what I do believe, I already thought that she got some of this information from Chris. Also, I think that Briana has gotten some of her information from the Teen Mom producers that work with Kail. So I do feel like she's gonna have a hard time. Kail will have a hard time proving that Briana just put this stuff out there for no reason. Like, I think this is going to be tough for her. This is going to be a tough situation. Defamation cases are already hard to win. And I think knowing that some of these things happened publicly gives Briana the upper hand in this lawsuit. So it says here, according to Bri and her legal team, they are claiming that this lawsuit is meritless and it is directed exclusively at protected speech on a matter of public concern brought for the purpose of harassing and trying to silence a critic. That is what Briana and her legal team stated in their court documents. The first person to publish these court documents was an Instagram account at Wawa Melon. I think that's what it is. As it was previously reported, Kail is suing Briana over statements that she made about Kail in an interview with Celebuzz, which is like a clickbait site, as well as comments that Briana made on an Instagram live. So this all happened around June 9th, and around that same time, the Instagram live and the Celebuzz interview, Briana claimed that Kail physically beat Chris, who is her ex, and Lux and Creed's father, and that Kail had broke into and entered the home of Chris's mother. Now, Kail has denied the claims that Briana has put out there, these claims that she broke into Chris's mom's house. And Bri, in turn, has hired a high-powered attorney who is known for defending clients in defamation lawsuits. So she come ready. Like, she didn't just get one of those, cheap attorneys. She got her a high-powered attorney who specializes in defamation lawsuits. Now, I'm not for sure who Kail is using. I would like to look into that. So Briana and her legal team, they stated that Kail's complaint is a classic SLAPP suit. So a SLAPP suit stands for a strategic lawsuit against public participation and is defined by antislap.org as lawsuits used to silence and harass critics by forcing them to spend money to defend these baseless suits. The website also states that SLAPP filers do not go to court to seek justice. Rather, SLAPPs are intended to intimidate those who disagree with them or their activities by draining the target's financial resources. So basically, Briana's side is saying, we don't think Kail really wants to go through with this lawsuit. Kail is strictly doing this to try to silence me and to try to just drain me for my money, to keep this lawsuit going. So I have to spend money, never with the intention of it to ever really go anywhere, from my understanding. Now, I'm going off the Ashley Reality's Roundup, and in her article, she gives a breakdown of Briana's response to the lawsuit filed against her by Kail. So Briana claims that she has truth on her side. In the court documents, Briana says that her statements did not defame Kail by talking about her getting arrested for assaulting Chris. The court documents that Briana filed state Kail verifiably was arrested for this, and her arrest garnered media attention. Kail cannot show falsity, and she cannot show actual malice. Briana, who is asking that Kail's lawsuit be dismissed and that Kail be forced to pay Briana's legal fees and costs, then states that the Hollywood Life obtained the police report from this alleged incident involving Kail and Chris back in 2020. And the website quoted from the police report states that Chris claimed that Kail struck him several times with a closed fist after she found out that Chris had cut their son's hair. Now, Kail has always denied these claims that she got physical with Chris over this situation. Later in the court paperwork, Briana says that none of her statements on Instagram that Kail complained about are even conceivably false. Briana states that she talked about how Kail could be filming about a domestic abuse situation with her baby daddy, Chris, which in the paperwork, Bri says it is true that Kail was indeed arrested for offensively touching Chris during the alleged incident. So I guess in Briana's defense, she's like, I didn't state that it was true. I just stated that this is something that's going on, that Kail was arrested for getting physical. So that's something she could be filming about. Not saying I said anywhere she in fact did this, but she could be filming about what's being alleged or what she was arrested for. The papers also state that Lowry cannot dispute that this occurred, the arrest. There is nothing defamatory about these statements. As for Briana's claims that Kail broke and entered, she states that even though Kail wasn't arrested or charged for this alleged crime, there is no material difference between this claim and the unequivocally true fact that Lowry was arrested for attacking Lopez. So here I'm still a little confused on this. Briana claims that Kail broke and entered. She states that even though Kail wasn't arrested or charged with this crime, there's just no difference between this claim and the fact that she was arrested for hitting Lopez. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that. Briana says that her statements about the incident as a whole made it clear that the alleged break-in and entering was part of Kail's alleged attack on Chris and not a separate incident. So this was all one incident. And I guess that's where Briana's kind of saying it was the whole incident that I was talking about. Also, Briana says that Chris told her about this. So that's why she thought she had true information. It goes on to say here that the documents then provide justification that Kail qualifies as a public figure. She states that she did not state that Kail did attack Chris. She stated that there were allegations that Kail attacked Chris. She claims that Kail cannot prove that Bri acted with actual malice while making these statements. So that is something with the defamation lawsuit. Apparently, you have to prove that the person made these claims with malicious intent. It wasn't just like a claim that they put out there just because they thought they had the correct information. You know, like if I know for a fact that Briana or that Kail did not do this, but I want to try to harm her reputation, so I say that she did something, then that could qualify as defamation. In the court documents, Bri claimed that she got the info that she reported during her IG Live and the interview from Chris himself. Briana states that she spoke with Chris Lopez prior to publishing her statements regarding Kail allegedly breaking and entering into Chris's mom's house. So the documents state Lopez told her that Lowry had broken and entered into his mother's house as part of her assault on Lopez. Briana considered Lopez to be a credible source of information as he was a first-hand witness to these events and his claims appeared sufficiently credible for Lowry to be arrested. Briana also claims that Kail did not follow the proper protocol for filing a lawsuit. The court documents state that Kail cannot even show that she complied with the pre-suit notice required by the state of Florida. The state requires a pre-suit notice to be sent to the defendant before the complaint can even be filed. The documents go on to state that before she could bring about a libel or slander lawsuit, Kail was required to serve Briana with a written notice at least 5 days before filing, informing Briana which statements, interviews, and etc. that Kail felt were defaming or false, and give her time to, I guess, take it down or retract, and then at that point she can move forward. It states here that Lowry did not provide pre-suit notice to Briana, nor did she even allege to have done so. Her failure to comply with this requirement requires dismissal of the complaint for failure to state a cause of action. The court is bound to dismiss Lowry's suit and award Briana her attorney fees. Now, this is according to her court documents. Her attorney is saying, wait, Florida, we have protocols you have to follow. Before you can even file a lawsuit, you have to serve them with a written notice informing them of what you're about to do. You give them the option to retract or something. You have to do this within 5 days. And Kail did not do this. So by law, this has to be dismissed. And that's honestly, if that is the case, then this is going to go nowhere. This will be dismissed if that is the case. If you have to do that, and she did not do that. But it makes you wonder, was her attorney not aware of that? Surely her attorney is an attorney in Florida, right? or maybe he's not from Florida, but he has to be licensed to practice in Florida, so surely he would know Florida laws. I don't know. Briana does claim that what she said falls under free speech. It says here that Kail's complaint was filed primarily because Briana exercised her constitutional right to free speech in connection with a public issue. It goes on to state that the lifestyles and conduct of well-known public figures and celebrities constitute an issue of public interest. Briana claims that Kail's arrest had already been covered by numerous media outlets back in October 2020, long before Briana discussed it online in June 2021. The court documents also state that third-party media entities have previously reported on Lowry's arrest and the status of the criminal case against her. Briana goes on to say that whether or not Kail broke into Chris's mom's house and attacked Chris is immaterial, because what Briana said in the IG Live post rings true. That Kail was purposely hiding this event, which unquestionably affected her family's life, but she did not film it for Teen Mom 2. Briana's IG post and interview were mainly about how certain cast members hide the embarrassing things and the controversial parts of their life and refuse to film them for the show. I actually have most of this IG Live up on my channel. I'll go find it and I'll link it up here if you guys want to see it. It also kind of gives like a timeline of things that was going on between Briana and Kail at that time as well. So check it out up here, you guys. The documents go on to state that Briana has met the burden of proof to qualify for anti-slap protection, and now Kail must show that her defamation claim has merit. The documents also state that she cannot meet this burden. In order to show defamation actually happened, Kail must show that a defamatory statement made by Bri was published, and that what Briana said about her was false, and that Briana acted knowing that what she was saying was false, or that she showed a reckless disregard for the truth. Kail must also provide that she suffered actual damages due to what Briana said about her. Kail is asking for $30,000, a jury trial, and that Briana pay her reasonable costs and attorney fees. Last month, a rep for Kail released the following statements to E! News. Kail is disheartened by the recent untrue statements made by her fellow cast member Briana Dejesus concerning Kail's absence from a recent episode and involvement in crimes that she never committed. Kail takes these statements very seriously. After necessary self-reflection, Kail has decided to handle the situation with Ms. Dejesus by exercising her legal right to protect herself and her brand in court. On Tuesday, Briana released a statement to Celebuzz regarding her response to the lawsuit, and she said, "I think my lawyer did a fine job of explaining my position in the brief we filed. If anything in that is not clear, you may direct your questions to him. Aside from that, I will just say that I think this lawsuit was not a good use of the court system, and I look forward to the judge seeing it for what it is, and ending this as quickly as the judge can." Briana continued by saying, "My family immigrated to this great country because we were seeking freedom. The greatest freedom we have is the First Amendment. If someone wants to sue me for exercising my First Amendment right, they're not only coming for me, but after the generations of freedom-seeking people who have made this the greatest country in the world. None of us will accept this without a fight." So that's her response, you guys. Her attorney, I don't know. I think it's going to get dropped. I think it's probably going to get dismissed just from what I'm reading so far. If Kail did not follow the proper protocol, and if you don't, it gets dismissed, it looks like that's what's going to happen here. Also, I'm not really a fan of Bri. I think I lean more towards Kail. But I don't think Kail has a defamation case here. I really don't, because those claims were already out there, and I don't recall Bri ever stating that she did in fact commit these crimes, just that she had been arrested for certain crimes. So yeah, you guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you guys feel like this lawsuit will be dismissed? I want to hear your thoughts. Whose side are you on? Kail, Briana? Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you are not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do that right now by clicking that button down below. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.